Shorty fell in love, now she doing all my drugs, young baby in the club, like little mama in my eyesight. She go home with me tonight, we connect like Wi-Fi.
Hey guys, welcome back with the Stone Movie Reviews channel. At your service, the AMG is here to please. And in this video, we'll be doing 5 crazy Lyft stories. So I hope you guys enjoy. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let's get this video going. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Number 1. So yeah, in the first story, I was working in Disneyland area. I ended up getting a call to pick up this guy. I think his name was Tom or Bob, I don't know. It was a white dude, you know, bald head guy. I seen the picture. Guy looked like Jason Statham and shit, you know, from Transporter. Anyways, went to go pick him up. He's literally like a mile from Disneyland. I go over there and I ended up passing him, right? Straight up just passed him. I seen the family there, but I didn't know if that was them. So I think he ended up texting me like, where the hell are you going, you know? He was already acting like an asshole. So I had to make a U-ey. I texted my bad. I made a U-ey. I came back around and then I went to go pick up the family. I think the family was I think it was at a hotel or something like that. That's where they were at. Like I said, it was literally like a mile from Disneyland. And then he gets in the car, he's already giving me fucking lit, you know? He's like, oh, you know, you passed me back there. I'm like, well, you know, yeah, my bad, you know? Like, honest mistake. I'm here now. You know, better late than never, you know? And then he just got quiet, and I'm like, fuck, it's gonna be one of these rides, you know? It's all good, though. It's all good, you know? It is what it is. It comes with the territory of doing Lyft, you know? So, oh yeah, it was him and you know, Jason Statham. It was his wife, older lady, and then his daughter. His daughter was in the back with his wife, and daughter was very good looking, you know. Just thought I'd throw that out there, you know. And don't worry, she was old enough, you know. She looked at least 19-ish, you know. So. He was going to Knott's Berry Farm. That's where I was taking him. And on the way over to Knott's Berry Farm, I can already tell it was going to be kind of awkward. They weren't talking to me, or they weren't even really talking, so it was awkward already, right? So I ended up saying, screw this, you know. I put on the radio, and I can already tell this was a family that wasn't going to like 92.3. You know what I mean? They didn't want to hear Drake, you know. So sometimes I have to play certain music for the certain type of people that come in the car, because I already know they're going to tell me to turn it off or change it anyway. So, you know, this, whatever, you know. So I put on a K-Rock. I'm like, I'm sure they'll like, you know, rock. This family looks like a rock type, you know. And I put on K-Rock, and then it was they weren't playing no music at the time. It was Stryker and Klein. The 2 radio talk show guys, and I'm a big fan of those guys, you know. Like, they crack me up, you know. I used to listen to a lot of them when I used to do Lyft. So anyways, they were doing a thing on the radio where they were like calling people and asking them like crazy things that happened at their workplace. And there was this girl that called in. And she was like, oh, hey, Stryker, hey, Klein, you know, big fans, you know, all this shit, you know. And then Klein's like, oh, nice. So you have a crazy job story you want to tell us? And then she's like, oh, yeah, you know, like when I was working at this office job, I ended up sleeping with 2 guys at the job, you know. I ended up screwing both of them over there in the room. And then Klein is like, oh, he starts laughing, you know. I start laughing. He's like, oh man, this girl deserves the Employee of the Month plaque, you know. And that's when it got me, you know. I started cracking up, you know. And this fucking guy, this fucking guy Bob, he just flips out, you know. He's like, starts huffing and puffing and shit like the fucking, you know what I mean, like a fucking dragon or something, you know. And fucking, he's like, can you turn this off? You know, like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And I'm like, hey man, like, hey, calm down. Hey, I don't control what comes on the radio, man. He's like, well, you know, I have my daughter in the back, man. You know, like, I'm like, hey, fuck, man, like, I'm like, whatever, you know, I don't want to get in too much into it with this fucking guy. I didn't even care if he gives me like a 0 stars. I'm like, I already had a 5-star rating and shit, you know, like whatever, you know. I'm like, I just basically told him, like, hey man, just calm down, like it ain't that big of a deal. I'll change it, you know. So then I say, fuck it, I'm gonna put it on fucking rap, you know. And then I put it on Rap Station, and I was already kind of like pissed. I started getting more pissed off as I thought about it, you know. And I'm like, you know what, fuck this guy, you know, thinking in my head and shit, you know. Sorry for the language, but you know. And I forget what song was on or some shit. It was a rap song, you know. And then I was kind of bumping it kind of loud, and I looked at him, you know, I gave him a fucking dirty look, and I was like, hey, you know, so is this song cool for you, you know? And he looked at me, he's like, it's fine, you know, when as long as it ain't that other shit, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, motherfucker, you know, the mom and the daughter in the back, they weren't saying shit, they were quiet, you know. So I ended up taking him to Knott's Berry Farm, right? And I said, you know what, after I dropped him off, I'm like, have a good day, you know. And he just looked at me, yeah, you too, you know. Slammed my fucking door. I'm like, fucking this motherfucker, you know. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna screw this fucking guy. So I was like, I'm gonna go to LA, because that's where the real money's at anyway. So that's like a fucking hour and a half drive, you know, at least. So I didn't close the ride, you know. I mean, I didn't end the ride, you know. So I ended up driving all the way to fucking Los Angeles. And once I got to Los Angeles, then I ended the ride. His ride was like $80 or some shit, you know. I could be wrong. It could have been like 60, or it was around there though, you know. And I'm like thinking to myself, yeah, motherfucker, you know, that's what happens when you fuck with me, you know. And once I got to LA, that's when I just, you know, reopened my app and then just fucking started getting rides over there. But yeah, so I mean, that was the first story, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that one. Alright, on to the second story. Before I start the second story, I wanted to just give like a pro tip that I used to do. So like, if anybody's watching this video and is working Lyft, then you know this is a good tip for you guys. So yeah, this is what I would do to try to get a tip. You know, I'll make this quick. You know, just a pro tip for you guys. So it'd be boiling hot, right? So for sure I would have the air on, but before I went to go pick up my ride, I would turn the air off, okay? And then I pull up, you know, pick up the party or whatever, and I would look back after a little bit, you know. Hey man, are you hot? Oh yeah, I'm a little hot. Oh, I'll turn the air on for you, man. You know, it's not a problem, you know. I don't mind. Boom, right there, you know, for sure. When I used to do that, 9 out of 10 times they're gonna tip me, you know. So let's cut the chase and let's get on to the second story. So I was working in LA as usual, and I was waiting in the parking lot, and I ended up getting in this call to pick up this guy. I think his name was Hector or something, you know, Mexican dude, right? And then I went to go pick him up. The pickup location was at a bar, and when I'm pulling up, it's like a family out there waving at me. I'm like, cool, you know, that's them. And then I pull up, and I didn't know who I was picking up. I don't know if it was a multiple party ride or what, you know. So I pulled up. One guy jumps in the back, you know, straight border hopper, you know, like this guy could barely even speak English, you know, let alone walk. And then the family comes on my side door, and then they were like, hey, please make sure you get him home safe, you know, cause like he's just had a lot to drink, and he's just blistered, you know, like he's just really drunk. So like, you know, here's a little something for you. They shot me $10, you know, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna put that on gas on the way home, you know. they're like, just please make sure he gets home safe, you know. And I'm like, cool, yeah, no worries, you know, I got you. And then they're like, oh, thank you so much, you're so sweet. And I'm like, cool, you know, it's all good. And then I end up taking off, right? And then Jose, like I say, he doesn't really speak too much English, but what he was saying, you know, I kind of understood, you know. So he was like, oh yeah, que como, yeah, basically he was like, you know, can you take me to my car, you know. I'm gonna cut it short, you know. He's like, can you take me to my car? And I'm thinking to myself, like, fuck, you know, like, this guy wants me to take him to his car. Like, the family just like told me to make sure he got home. At the time I was like, I don't know if I should do that, you know. But then he's like, oh, I'll pay you. And I'm like, and you know, like a little light went off in my head. I'm like, you know, at the slot machines in the casino, you know, ding 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 ding, you know, that type of shit, right? So I'm like, oh shit, yeah, where do you want to go? Like, where's your car at, bro? And he's like, oh, down the street, you know, like around the corner, you know. I'm like, cool, hey man, that's cool, you know. He shot me $20, and I'm like, hell yeah, you know, I'm put that on gas too, and maybe food, you know. Shit, I'm gonna stop at McDonald's or something, get a Big Mac, you know, some fries and shit, right? So I take him to his car and ended up dropping him off, and I'm like, have a good day, boss, you know, be careful, you know, a lot of cops out here. He's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, frijoles, you know, whatever, you know. He's fucking blistered, you know, the guy could barely walk, you know. So I'm like, cool, I made $30, you know. All I had to do was take him down the street, so it was a win-win for me, you know. And yeah, it's a little fucked up, but like the title of the story is, you know, taking advantage of the guy. So yeah, like basically the same thing that I did with that Jason Statham guy, you know, the Knott's Berry Farm guy, is what I did with this guy. Because I was already tired. It was one of my last rides of the night. It was my last ride of the night. And I'm like, you know, I just want to go home already. So I was like, this guy is so drunk. I guarantee you, like, if I don't end the ride and just go all the way home to Anaheim from LA and then end the ride, and once I go to Anaheim, this fucking guy's not gonna know, you know. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up driving all the way to Anaheim. Once I got to the sushi spot over here in Anaheim, next to the McDonald's, that's where I ended the ride. And yeah, you know, his fucking ride was like 73, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said in the first story, it could have been more, it could have been less. That I don't know too sure on that, but basically I screwed him in the ass, you know. Like, there's no other way to say it, you know. I'm not proud of it, but kind of am proud of it. So before we get into the next story, just one more pro tip for you Lyft and Uber drivers, in case you guys are wondering how I ended up doing that. So when I would drop off a person to the destination, in this case it was Julio, right? Tamales. When I would drop off Julio and to his car, I would start a new destination. Okay, so the destination that I chose obviously was the sushi spot in Anaheim. So I put in the address for the sushi spot, and then that's when I would drive to the spot and then end the ride there. So in case you guys are wondering, honestly, you guys should be paying me for that gold information, but it's cool. You guys subscribe to my channel, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that shit, whatever, so I appreciate it, so I give you this advice. And that was the second story, so hope you guys enjoyed, and on to the next one.